The pressure point. Dr. Kalin watched the Oculus, a creature of living glass and cold light, drift past the viewport. She was 9,000 meters down, the weight of the Pacific resting on the hydrostat. It was silent, save for the hum of the life support and the slow rhythmic sweep of the station's sonar. This was her world, a world of quiet, profound discovery. Ayolt, sharp and metallic, shattered the calm. Not the regular settling of the hull, but a violent, systemic shudder. The lights flickered from steady white to an emergency amber. An automated voice, flat and unhurried, announced the unthinkable. Hull integrity compromised. Pressure breach detected in Section Beta. Kalin sprang from her chair. Section Beta housed the main thermal regulator, which was necessary to prevent the station's delicate inner mechanisms from freezing solid in the near-zero deep A breach. There meant the cold was coming in, and fast. More critically, it was directly adjacent to the primary oxygen tanks. She checked the station's remaining air 4 hours, if she stayed perfectly still. If she worked, if she moved, perhaps 2. The escape pod was ready, but it was a one-way ticket to a desperate ascent that carried its own 50% chance of implosion. Her life's work, the Oculus data, would be lost. Her mind snapped into clinical focus. The danger wasn't the pressure, not yet. The danger was the time. She had 2 options: panic and launch, saving her life but sacrificing her mission, or attempt a manual patch on Section Beta, a task that required her to open the inner containment door and face the frigid breach. The Oculus swam into the viewport again, its light pulsing hypnotically, an ancient, unknowable clock. Discovery is always the last thing to survive, she thought. Her hand went to the main power conduit shut-off. If she cut the regulator's power, the ice would slow the breach, buying her 30 minutes. But it meant the temperature inside the hydrostat would drop rapidly to dangerous levels. She moved to the beta door. The latch was frozen solid. She used a small, heated torch from her utility belt to melt the thin layer of ice. The hissed release of the melting water sounded deafening in the silence. Beyond the door, she knew, was a needle-thin jet of water moving at bullet speed, waiting to flay her. This was the true danger, she realized, the seductive logic of inaction. It would be easier to simply get into the pod, accept the loss, and wait for fate. But that wasn't survival. Survival was fighting for the meaning of life, not just the continuation of a heartbeat. With a shout she didn't know she had held back, Kalin shoved a prepared epoxy patch through the gap, angling it against the pressure. The deep-sea water met the air in a deafening, frothing roar, trying to rip the patch from her grip. Her arms screamed, her lungs burned, but she held the seal. The roar subsided to a sigh, then a whisper, and finally, nothing but the steady hum of the hydrostat. The emergency lights faded to a stable, low white. Kalin leaned against the sealed hatch, her breath clouding the frigid air. The Oculus was gone from the window. She had saved the station. She had saved the mission. The danger had passed, leaving behind a silence far heavier than before.